What is up? Workbringer here, and today we are looking at a run I did earlier the week of Halls of Atonement. +8 on Tyrannical Storming Week. It was a thing. Now, Halls of Atonement has some gear for me. I believe it has my best chest slot and also a necklace. And I no longer need the chest, actually, but I like to run this for the necklace. And in general, it's one that I know pretty well. It's probably going to be the first place I attempt to do +10. And so I just like to practice it. And though, there's this interesting thing where I watch people online that I like, who do high level keys, and they're doing like 14s and, really high stuff at low item levels. And I'm like, oh, anyone should be able to do that. But basically, those people are the top, like, not even 1%. Like, I think it's really like the top, like, 0.001% of WoW players. And so are their friends. And in that they can spend that much time on it, in that I heard them talk about it the other day. They're like as a group, all 5 of them together, like a consistent push group, all 5 of them together will spend hours in Mythic Dungeon Tools just planning routes and who's going to kick who. And so there's hours of planning as a team what's going to happen. And so if you compare that to pugging, which is what I mostly do, I'm starting to put together like a group of consistent people, but nothing like that. Imagine being on voice comms for hours with the group that you play with every day, planning Halls of Atonement. It's a different type of strategies can even start to come out. Anyway, for me, the reality is I'm at 204 gear, which in this point in the expansion is good. I actually have never seen anyone higher. It probably exists because I can get it, but I just still have never seen anyone that high. And I just farm, and then buy whatever I can. And so I'm pretty geared. I can get into almost any group that's under 10 because I don't have IO of 10s, and I'm not really at that point. But 8 is where I feel the pain. And 8 for me is pretty hard. 7s I'm pretty confident with now. And that's just me, right? And so like I hear a lot of tanks, not a lot. I hear like the couple tanks I follow. It's like, the tank needs to be the most consistent person and also the most knowledgeable person of the dungeon, or at least one of them. Can't be the least when they're running it. You need to know the route. You need to know what every mob is. You need to know what times the mobs are most dangerous, when to do cooldowns, who to call first, where to mark for like interrupts and whatnot. And so I'm really just working on consistency, which I don't have, which you'll see in this run, before I go to the 10, the 11, the 12. Like my guild runs 11s, and I'm like, nah. And they're like, hey, there's, I don't know what this feature is, but they'll do in the guild chat thing, they'll be like #keys, then all the keys that are available right now will show up, and there's all these +11s, and I'm like, no, thank you. I can't. I've taken some 4s for my guild, and a 7 we didn't finish Plaguefall on time though. We were like 5 minutes over a Plaguefall 7. I was like, sorry. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm ready for 11 at this point. So 8, running this 8 is to really solidify boss mechanics because it's Tyrannical week. And routes as well, which again you'll see don't exactly nail even this route, and this is quite easy. I guess this isn't the group, or is it? I was running this. Oh no, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so the druid butt pulls that, right? I don't know which druid, which one of them. It was one of the deers. So that's not a good. So that's not a like. This is a great group, like doing 8s pretty confidently. I'll give it away now. I mess up count, okay? But what happens? So for +10, where you need to very precisely target mobs to land at 20% increments right before the boss, or when you at a reasonable, at least not a dangerous time, you can't have that butt pull. And from the routes I've seen, for instance, these gargoyles over there, they're not part of count. The gargoyles we actually butt pulled, those are part of count when you do +10. I've been looking at that route a lot. Dratnos' route. And the tornadoes and just general laxness. I can't believe someone would butt pull in a +8. Everything else is going fine, but whatever. This one gets, I think we also start over pulling here because of the tornadoes. And maybe that butt pull was just running, which is pretty unforgivable on like a higher, on like an organized key, that would be like pretty bad. I was like, what? Like how is that? How are you possibly running into that pack? Don't you like? It's all that you don't see nameplates on your game. I don't know, but what is forgivable is like when things get kind of crazy, like in Necrotic Wake 7. This is my first time doing storming here. I think I couldn't find a 7. Is that the tornadoes force you to move a lot more than normal, and then you butt pull. And this pack is not so bad when it's not fortified. If this is fortified, those are pretty bad. We're seeing a lot of out of the gate AoE stuns because I would imagine this group has run like 9s or something like that. And on fortified, so last week and what will be this upcoming week, those kill. They're not as bad as the bears, but they're pretty hard. Like if I just sit in auto attacks for them, I'll get pretty wrecked. And so that's why you see the Typhoon immediately. You're going to immediately see, was it the Chaos Nova? A lot of stuns coming out, right? So the good composite. Okay, so let me just tell you the mistake I made there is there's 2 more people up there. I'm supposed to take all of them. But the little thing of the butt pulls of those other packs has thrown me off just a little bit. And it's also put in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, we have extra count. Maybe we can skip something. So you either go over count or you miss some. But what happens is if you go over and you're not grouping them together, like huge groups of mobs on tornadoes, storming, kind of a bad idea. You just have more tornadoes. It's not good. And at a certain point, it doesn't matter how good you are. If 4 tornadoes spawn around you, you're going into tornado. You might pull something. So I think I'm trying to like make up count. And we're in this thing where like, this isn't my route anymore. This is someone else's route. And I have to improv the rest of it. And I improv it just a little bit off. So you'll see that. But yeah, we're in a nice open courtyard. A lot of people like to jump down. And certain routes are built off that. I will continue to build routes based not on jumping down. Jumping down in pugs has resulted in a lot of issues for me. And it's harder to get this. It's you exiting this little courtyard from the inside. I find that to be way more variable for pugs. I know how to do it. If it was a voice comm group and I could put markers, which would be such a waste of time to do that. But like, if I can tell people how to walk out and guarantee we're not going to butt pull the gargoyle is the main thing, and we don't always have a Venthyr, then it's fine. But this way I can lead a pug that doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So we're still working down this vicious Gargon. Lots of stuns going down. That's the sign of a good group. Because as a tank, you can only do so much. And again, I am geared. This place drops level, like end of dungeon is 200. I don't even need that many 200 pieces at this point. I think our druid's going to drink. I need like maybe 4. At the time of you watching this, I probably need like 2. Like I need like 2 pieces of gear from this place. Like I am at gear for this or above it. Yeah, I can still get killed because you have to play the mechanics. And tanks, we only have so much utility. It really comes down to the comp to help out with stuns, kicks, and whatnot. So what you do in a pack like this, I was watching Dorky, who's a bear. He's just a tank in general and DPS. I think he mains Unholy DK, but he's pretty known on Twitch for tanking. You run into this group, and the way that I do it currently is the collector. I put a skull on them. My macro says interrupt them. And then I put an X on one of the other obliterators. And what should happen is the collector should never let off like the reanimate weapons, because that adds to this. It gets much worse, and they're hard to aggro. They're very hard to aggro. I have to individually click each weapon. And then the other 2 casters need to be permanently stunned and rotated between 2 to 3 people. And none of the cast should go off. But I'm not as coordinated in this group, we don't know each other. We'll never see each other again, very likely. Not going to happen. But as you get to the hierarchies, those casts will start to destroy you. Like they will, like those going off is the wipe. That's how precise this gets. So a lot of people like to just run in, and that's a pug killer. To progress by not, if you don't kill this one, at least the way that I like to move the Halkias, I hug this side of the room. And what I do here, I'm a bit off, and storming is kind of, I'm kind of half here like exploring storming. I was like, oh, how bad is this? That's what I was talking with about this, and I don't think anyone else had really done it either. I missed 2 mobs over there that I normally pull too. Mistakes were made. Saving Divine Toll for that makes this very easy. On a hierarchy like this, on a Tyrannical, they're doing a great job with kicks back there, and this person's permanently locked down, and I've skulled them, right? And so that's the most important person to skull down. And yeah, our group is keeping the AoE stuns and interrupts alive, so very, very good. And you'll see that my tank style for this, even though we're not fortified, though we will be next week, from my understanding, is it's like slam, 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 silence, and run away, right? Drop Consecration and try to get away from the bears. Look, I currently have 0 bear dots on me. I've got 1 now. Not too bad. I say not too bad. That bear, if I just sat there, even with my mitigation up, would just eat me. Eat a tornado. But we're just kite. This is inefficient, but we're kind of getting ready for this. And we're about to go for the boss. I don't know. Am I typing? I don't know what's going on. I might have written R to the druid. I don't remember. There it is. We got the boy. So in an organized group, everyone should run. Oh, they're doing it. They're doing it. Okay, so I think I confused them. Okay, yeah. So this does not go well, this first part. What should be done and what they were going to do, but most of the groups don't do, is you need to run into the circle that he'll spawn when you first attack him. But most groups will not do that, so I end up pulling the boss to the group who's sitting back in the middle of the courtyard. They were going in the right place, however, I anticipated that they wouldn't. And then the druid was on me when his first slam came down. So it was bad timing. We have no voice comms. I've never run with this group before. The rogue dies. The healer's almost dead. This looks pretty wipe sauce. However, remember, to me, I have to remember, there's 2 druids, there's 2 rebirths, right? I believe. Anyway, I'm not sure the mindset with this, but going outside of the circle, you will die. You'll be permanently feared and you will die. Getting hit by the slam, you will die. Unless you're me, right? They got hit. Getting hit by the red beams when they're spinning, 2 ticks, you will die. Standing in the red, you got a little bit actually. You're not going to get 1 shot. Unlike Spires of Ascension, the black pools will just kill you. These ones are not so bad. They'll just slow you, right? Because it's supposed to make this harder. So if we end up in the not optimal position like this, where there are some like unavoidables, you just stand in it. And you just, pop a defensive or something like that. It's not the worst. Getting outside of the circle is bad. Getting slammed is bad. So I haven't left a ton of room for this Demon Hunter, and there's a lot of tornadoes, but thus is the fight. If I move around as freely as I would like to, that Boomkin, the resto, they'll have nowhere to go, right? So that's my assessment of that fight, is that I was pulling the boss to them because a lot of pugs, even at higher keys, don't get in the circle immediately. Hunters looking at you, just chilling with your 2 pets, not getting in the circle like, yeah, what's up? Because hunters are used to being like 40 feet away, not Halkias. You need to be on me. There's a lot of dungeons actually where like even the ranged kind of need to stay very close to the tank, or they would benefit from that. Sort of regret pulling that pack in. Normally fine, but there's 4 tornadoes. My whole job is stopping that cast, turn to stone. I get to now turn off my brain. I'm all done. We have not wiped. We have not pulled extra. There's a lot of tornadoes, but we have our first 2 packs cleaved together more or less. Stop the turn to stone. It's time to move on. So I have missed about 4 mobs, but we've also picked up about 8 little mobs that I didn't want extra. And so I feel like we're probably close, right? I'm like, we're probably very close to count. And so I go for there's a lot of time lost here, and I'm understanding the new route, a route that I saw Dratnos do, is you also kill the gargoyle on the left instead of waiting, and you kill the mobs on the left, which I think the mobs on the left is a little tricky. Here, normally, I will actually drag this patrol, because if you wipe, this patrol slows things down a lot, and I'll take him for count. I usually drag him into the trash in front of me, or to the left of me, and there's a loyal Stoneborn, so you can basically use the other gargoyle to kill this one, and pick up a little extra count. A couple other people are in there. It doesn't take that long. However, I'm trying to make up, right? I'm trying to go fast here, and the calculation does not go on in my favor. So instead of waiting for this is how I feel now. I'm going to be kind of trying this out. Instead of waiting, we should just pull it up the stairs. Just pull it up the stairs. Not a big deal. We'll kill it really quickly. Then again, but for prideful, you that's usually your last, I don't know, 60%, 80%. That's probably your last 80% or something like that, is to kill that one. That's the move. Don't wait, kill it, and it makes running back easier in the case that you do die. So that's kind of how I feel about this one now, and that's why I make these videos. These aren't really like tutorials at all, because I'm still learning. I haven't made like how to tank as Paladin Mythic Plus guide, because I'm still learning. I haven't done a 15. I haven't done all the affixes. Like, I don't know. I'm just like basically recording my progress as tank, and that's how you get better from what I hear, and I believe it. You know, looking at the mistakes, looking at what went well, what didn't. For the month of December, I'm just very serious about it, treating it like a sport, treating it like how I do my work, you know, just very documented and open in public. And, you know, value feedback from more experienced tanks and little tips. There's just so many little things to min-max in World of Warcraft that you really can't know everything. And if you think you know everything about your class, then it's like, oh, cool. Do you know everything about all the other players in your group? Do you know all their silences, all their interrupts, all the metas with their covenants? Like, you couldn't possibly at this point know all the metas of the covenants at M+ high end. You might know generally it, but I don't even know all the meta for Paladin because I don't have all the conduits and I didn't play beta. I feel like this is bugged, right? This group is doing the mechanic correctly, thank goodness, where you take the stone and you drop it on the dead gargoyles and then they stay dead. Why are those ones just sitting there and then they activate? They're supposed to all run to me. That being said, this is tyrannical and maybe like the phases are different. They just sit there. They're supposed to at least kind of aggro or cast on you. But I hit them with the shield and they didn't come to, you see, they're just like sitting there. Is that how that works normally? This is not how I remember this place working. But yeah, so I'm having a little bit of a harder time rounding everybody up. But we're getting it done. Looks like we're gonna drop and kill the ones that are dead. So this is pretty good. There they go. Yeah, they're supposed to like move. I feel like some of them are bugged. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's chaos though. The fights are longer. It's tyrannical. We're dropping the circles at a relative, like the little blood circles. We're doing a pretty good job of leaving them not in the center of the room. The center is where it gets really bad. And I'm just doing my best to, you know, use mitigation. All my cooldowns are down, right? Just because I'm running around, I get hit in the back, which means I can't block or parry. And we're whittling the boss down. At this point, it's a focus the boss situation. Yeah, pretty clean. But yeah, I feel like those little guys were kind of bugged, but that went fine. This is my new strat for this room. No one else does this that I've seen, but I insist on it. I tell everyone to LOS, which means don't just stand in front of the door. You ruin my pull. Like, get over there. And we pull them all out. So my mistake so far is 2 stacks. 2 stacks is not bad. How many am I going to get here? 3. 3 is getting bad. We are not. No one's helping me kite the bears. 5. I'm dead. And then Loyal goes off. I'm dead. I have no cooldowns. I'm dead. So there's the stun after the tank is dead. I think maybe people aren't used to pulling in this room. I don't know what they're focusing on. Again, not voice comms. Voice comms, I would be like kite, help, stun anything. But I'm my stacks are getting up to 5. Like stacks go up to 5 and loyal goes off. And yeah, I did. We all did. That's those bears. That pull is probably the hardest for me, at least, if no one helps. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is a really good group. Really, really good. Of the pugs on the higher end of the keys for me. Yet with no voice comms, no consistency with running the group. Maybe demon hunters don't need help kiting. I think any tank will take the help. Monks, demon hunters way more mobile than me by default, so they can maybe kite that by themselves a little bit easier. But Prot Paladin, I need help kiting. We gotta stun these things. We gotta root them. 2 druids, like I need something. But they're just tunneling DPS and tanks got it. Probably is the thought. Tank don't got it. Tank die. Tank die at +8. And on Fortified, I would have been dead even faster. So let's see. I'm still kiting. Looks like I have some sort of DPS cooldown on me. Either deep, do I have Ardens? I'm popping all the things because these things just eat me. So I'm still, just staying out of reach of these bears. And I think there's some help. Typhoon. I don't know what the disorient one looks like. A hunter concussion, but I don't know whose it is. But this is it. I just need a couple knockbacks, and this pull's not so bad. Even if they loyal Stormborn, I'll just push them away. Like, they're just bigger versions, not so bad. But yeah, it was an unfortunate wipe. If you know this dungeon extremely, I tell everyone to go back there. Another LOS pull, meaning don't stand in the hallway, don't follow me. As if you're the healer, don't follow me into that room. You'll actually also mess it up even more. This is all voice comm stuff. If you know this dungeon extremely well as a tank, you might look at that count and be like, that's pretty close. That's pretty close count, isn't it? Right? Like roughly, right? In a non 10, right? No prideful. How much trash are you supposed to have at the end of echelon? Comments below if you know the answer. Right? Because there's a fixed number of trash to some degree in the upcoming rooms, and you have to kill them all. You have to kill all of these. The gargoyles, typically you're going to take one of them, not kill the other one, then you kill all the other ones. There's a number you need for trash after you kill echelon. What is that number? Let me tell you, we're a little bit off. A little bit off. How much off? We'll find out at the end, right? But yeah, I made a video about screwing this place up earlier on a +5, right? Didn't get count, and I was like, oh, I know how to fix that. Like, we just do this, and you have to have this much before you go in. Well, I'm not titling this video that, but this is also another screw up on my part. 100% tank route screw up. However, don't feel too bad for me. We do time. So we're using the gargoyle here. With the balanced druid, you can actually, when this one's all done, you can pull the other one, but thank God they didn't. Let me tell you. You can pull the other one in and use it. And I'll just say it now. If someone had big brained, and I would have been very happy if they had done it. Actually, no, that would have made the fight go faster, but say the fight didn't go any faster and they killed that gargoyle, we would not have timed this key. That's how tight this is. So why is this run such a tight timing? One, we wipe to bears. That's like 30 seconds run back at least, something like that. And 2, I'm realizing this is where you need to start to really group up mobs. This is where you have to double, triple pull for time. At least if you wipe once, to that bear pull. And you need to go fast. And so the timers, I think at 7 and 8, the timers start to be less forgiving. And the mobs must hit a bit harder too, and whatnot, have a little bit more health. But you gotta power cleave. So a lot of this is up to me to do well, is to, assess the group. Can we pull off a triple? Can we pull off that front double? Yeah, and that's part of it. With the tornadoes, it's especially chaotic, but we're quite fine. I bugged out this room before by running in. Someone had already pulled some of these, and then I ran back out because the healer hadn't come in yet. They were drinking. And when I ran back in, the mobs right in front of me had actually bugged out. To me, I couldn't target them anymore. They weren't there. So that was an interesting thing. So the way you pull this room, I've done it every way possible, I think, honestly. And they fixed the LOS issue, so you can't LOS the draining cast, and you can't do the door trick with it anymore. So you gotta just kill it all. What you do is you start the fight down here, and I tell everyone to stay down here until the guy comes down, right? Because we're too far away. So he just walks his ass down here. Now, if you pull it and someone's in the middle or someone's in the front part, then he'll just stay up there until you interrupt him. And that makes it very hard for me to gather up all the manifestations of envy because they're everywhere, and I only have so many AoE casts in a given amount of time. I can't gather them. And at higher keys, the manifestations of envy on fortified hurt a lot. So they'll start like not globaling, but like 1, 2, 3 ticks of 8 manifestations of envy hitting the healer. This is a prot pal or a holy pal. They're dead. They're real dead, and I've seen that. And you don't know this from lower keys, and it's probably not true on tyrannical as well. A little more forgiving out here because the ads are not as bad. But anyway, that's the way to pull it. We have a Boomkin as well doing Boomkin things, though they nerfed Starfall somehow. I don't know. Boomkin still does big damage, though. So we make short work of this room. Proper strat employed. And every room, every pull has meta of how you're supposed to do it. As tank, as healer. Like, does healer need cooldowns? Is healer going to do raid cooldowns, right? And then every class has their own little meta of how to handle it as well. And it's just like the combination of everyone knowing those things together. And if your unsaid strategy is going to work with the other people in the group at high level, like everyone can probably do it. Everyone probably knows how it goes. But the variables are the other people. The instance is usually pretty static, but you may not be used to having a boomkin. Someone may have done a typhoon, and you weren't expecting that. And you're like, oh, well, that changes how I'm going to do things. And then you can get a little bit off. Right? In a good way, in a bad way, things can be a little different. Those butt pulls in the beginning, I'm a little off on count. That is my fault, but it is my fault triggered, I believe, by other people. The Resto Druid switched into bear form to tank a little bit of this. That's pretty clever. I like it. And then it switched into Boomkin form to pop some DPS. So yeah, Resto Druid, you're pushing lots of buttons. Could have used a little bit of Ursul's Vertex or little CC on those bears, but we got it. This is not my finest one. I'm like pretty stressed out during Tyrannical about getting hit by that statue. It doesn't one-shot you. Like, people were telling me it was going to one-shot you in Tyrannical. It does not, especially me. I have I have like over 50k health now. It's not one-shotting, but it's pretty bad. Looks like the druid got hit, but we're pumping the deeps, and it's close on the timer, but I don't think anyone's stressing it, but I'm looking at it. We're in the woe here. Let's see if I start dropping flash heals, because I'll pop a defensive and just flash heal everyone up as much as I can. Just help out without dying myself. But yeah, just help I didn't see Tranquility used ever. I think Tranquility is like really weak actually in high keys. So I'm just pumping direct heals onto the lowest people. During this phase and during the skeleton boss. Oh my god, I think I get destroyed. Yeah. So that threw me. I'm like almost dead. And I just divine shield it. It's like, why risk it? I cannot die for 8 seconds. So balances me out. I try not to get hit by that thing, but if you don't immediately look at it as melee, okay, so we're like, oh cool, good job. I'm just chilling. Don't have count, and I'm the last one to notice. Everyone's running. 1 minute on the clock. 1 minute on the clock, and how much was Workbringer off on count? 1%. There's no mobs in this dungeon that are worth under 1%. There are in others. One mob. Actually, I take it back. One of the groundskeepers might be like under it. But I remember there's a gargoyle in here, and I'm screaming it. Everyone's screaming it. Kill the gargoyle. We still have plenty of time to kill one gargoyle. And the demon hunter, who's our Venthyr, hooray, we timed it. Was like, hey, what if I had taken it over, right? Controlled it, mind controlled it. We wouldn't have timed if he had done that, just out of habit. So the amount of count you're supposed to go up with, we had it. We had it, like on Plaguefall, you're supposed to go down with about, 89 to 90. Spires, you want to go up with about 89 to 90. And we had it here. It was, I think it's like 80 basically, maybe a little bit more apparently, right? But it's never the exact number because they don't even show half percents. It's roughly that much. And in this case, we were 1% off. It's like half a mob off. Yeah. So I still have things to work on with route. Better to overkill a little bit, but it's a balance of time. You can't overkill everything because then you don't time it. Anyway, I'm 204, looking thick. I think this is my third eye level 200 shoulder drop when I have a 210 legendary, so rip. Honestly, again, but look at my gear. 200 is, I don't really need a ton of more 200s, but damn it, shoulder, but that's this dungeon. And very happy to be doing 8s. I think for my part, I'm consistent enough to do the 8, and it's up to the group, and I'll see you on the next one.